William here with Patriot Containers. I've had this video that on my mind that I wanted to make because I want to get it off of my chest. So it's going to get a little personal here, but it's going to tell you with why, like, my name is Patriot Containers. Me personally, one thing that really makes me mad is when you got a guy or girl from India or whatever kind of country there is, and they call and they prey on old people that don't have a clue of what they're doing, and then they lie to the old people to get into their computer, to get into their bank account, to go to the bank and cut a check, thousands of dollars, to steal victims' money. And these victims can be conned into feeling like somebody's hurt, somebody's going to jail. So, I met my wife at a bank. She's dealt with customers that come in all frantic and they're trying to wire money, and she's had to stop them. I've heard, of course, I'm going to be 48 next year. I've heard a lot of stories about how they got these people in this world that prey on innocent victims. And those people make me sick. How do I feel about this so you get my point? I feel like if you have somebody in a cubicle that's being paid to lie to somebody, and your whole job is to steal as much money as possible from that person and then get away with it, and you have no remorse for an elderly person or a person that just didn't know, and that's your job, I think you should be dragged out in the street and shot in the head. That's how I feel about it. You don't have to feel. You're a total piece of shit, and you have no soul. You have no moral, and you're just the lowest of low scum. You're a con artist. You're a thief. You're a liar. So that's where I stand. Is the container company that bad? In a way, it's similar. I used to work for bad companies that ripped off the customers. The bad companies now, what I call the Pinocchio rookie companies, they're worse than the companies I used to work for. And I figured them out. Even though Patriot Containers stands for doing with what's right for customers, there is a personal level here of my videos, and I'm going to tell you why. And I always feel like I just need to be transparent with everything. I think it's fun. I like being honest. Being honest gets to the point. But there is something I have been beating around in the bushes with. There is a specific company that when they first started, I used to use pictures of my wife in my ads. I was the first one on YouTube to do delivery videos, like on a daily basis. Delivery videos. And so I used to use pictures of my wife in my ads. I have a good-looking Latina wife. And they stole my pictures of my wife and used them on their ads. That's low. I think I even contacted these companies. I'm like, what are you doing? That's my wife. You stole my ad picture. And then after that, you see all these, Hills Have Eyes girls that they're using in their ads, kind of copying my trend, I guess, of using a beautiful woman next to a container, but their women weren't beautiful. But yeah, they stole pictures of my wife and used them in her ads. I think that's low. I think it shows who you are. Well, it gets worse. I write every single content that has to do with my business or my marketing or anything. I personally write it letter for letter, word for word. I had a content on my Facebook ad. The content was so good that people would read it and go, "Hey, I read your content. I want to buy a container." It was that good. It was really good. Well, this company, it's actually the company that gave me a lawsuit to shut me up so you don't see these videos about these Pinocchio rookie companies. That company stole my words 100%. Like, they didn't change anything. They stole it and put it on their ads. And that's called plagiarism. And I was like, man, that's freaking low. I even think I reached out to the business owner just to try to talk to this person as like a man-to-man situation. So I could address this and go, to be honest, I don't like having confrontation with people. I want to be at peace and do with what's right for people and call it a day. These companies that I'm exposing, they go as far as having their reps across the United States. I actually think they pay people to do this. Is to get people like me, the good guys that used to not expose them, getting kicked off of the marketing platforms, so I can't be around. Actually, to be honest, I know that for a fact because we had a Facebook rep that actually told us the business name, the same business that gave me a lawsuit. In the beginning of the video, I was talking about like people from India that calling you, and they always have the name Madonna or Elvis or John or whatever, but they're trying to steal money. These companies are very similar to that. They're not exactly that, but they are preying on people that don't know what they're asking for. They don't want to be confronted. They don't want to talk about it, and they run away once they got you. I try to be a man and go, hey, look, like somebody in your marketing is using the pictures of my wife on your ads. Please don't do that again. They're little stupid Romanian minions that work for him, and I don't even know if these people are in this country, America, because I've looked at all their employees. I can't judge a character of where they're at, but I'll tell you, I don't think they're here in America. Not all of them. They might have some. Obviously, they have a small office with some hopefully legal American citizens, and it looks like they actually have a little Pinocchio. I told my wife that. We started dying laughing. But yeah, I've done a lot of research on these companies. Yeah, they stole my content that I use word for word. I actually, long time ago when this happened, I left them a bad review. I'm like, you guys rip your customers off. And I've seen all your complaints. You sold pictures of my wife and used them on your ads. You blah blah blah. And their response from the coward owner that hides behind his minions, their response was, "Oh, we're so sorry. We don't know who you are. We're too busy." What the hell word did they say? We're too busy like making money or something. And I was like, wow, you know who I am because you've stolen my marketing, you've stolen my pictures, you've stolen so much stuff from me. And it's kind of like they've been watching me the whole time, the way I do things. They even copy the way I respond to my customers almost word for word. It's everything that I do comes from here and it comes from here, and it's not copy and pasted. So yeah, they know who I am. I've been around longer than them. I'm just not the biggest. I had a business partner, my first business partner a long time ago. He wanted to grow a business into this huge thing before we even got started. And I was like, hold on. Yeah, he wanted to grow into something that's huge. I've never wanted to be a huge company, and I'll tell you why. I think the bigger the company is that you guys as customers talk to, the worse they are. The biggest companies in America that have an office, a headquarters, and then all these sales reps all across the United States. It could be hundreds of sales reps marketing on their Facebook, marketing on YouTube. Um, those are the worst companies you can buy from. They literally don't give a shit about their customers. Well, I'm a one-man operation. I don't have a single employee that does anything for me. I do everything, my own purchasing. I do my own marketing. I do my own communication, sales, scheduling, following up. It's just I literally do everything. That's why I do it right. That's why they can't do it right, is because they have too many people spread out and too many sales coming in at once that they can't process orders correctly. That's why they're rookies. They're Pinocchios because they lied to you, but they're rookies because they suck at everything that they do, literally. And so a whole point of my videos now, starting back to 5 months ago, is exposing these companies. And yes, there is a little bit of personal issues there, but it doesn't affect the truth of what I'm telling you. I'm doing this because I believe in doing what's right for American citizens and standing up for people and doing the right thing. Now, if you guys got a bunch of companies out there, which are like 90%, that are literally ripping you guys off and getting away with it, I'm going to do something about it now. And in a way, these Pinocchio rookie companies have literally tried to harm me. One of them even actually sued me. I always wanted the chance to go to court and be next to somebody and literally say this to their face and say this to a judge. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Hopefully. I'd actually like to get permission to film this and do this right to the company, right to the coward's owner's face that hides behind his employees, their employees. All these owners will never hop on the phone with you. They are cowards. They won't do videos like this because they're dog shit companies that the truth flows so much easier and naturally. Everything I'm saying in my videos is the truth. So they can't do this. And they never will. And if they try, it's going to be phony, fake, and not authentic at all. The reason I know so much is I used to work for companies just like these 13 years ago. I know exactly about everything of why they can't do anything right. And they suck. They really suck. These companies are so bad that the companies I used to work for 13 years ago, we were selling so many containers that the little people in an office couldn't keep up with pushing out to getting out the containers, purchasing the right containers, getting them scheduled. I went and talked to these employees that worked for the company I used to work for, and they just didn't know what to do. It's like dealing with somebody that does emails instead of talking on the phone. You send them an email on a Friday, and then you go, "Hey, did you get that email?" And they go, "No, we're still doing emails from Tuesday." I'm like, "What? So you're not going to get to my Friday email till next week?" They have a system that doesn't work. My system actually works. It works also because I'm a business owner and I care and I have OCD and I do the job right, and that's what I stand for. Those companies. So I had this idea of how to fix a broken company. Well, number one, you got to send all your salespeople home for 1 month. Send them home. Don't make any sales for 1 month and fix all your orders that you have that are broken and all those customers that are wondering what's going on. Does this company suck? Is this company good? I want my money back. Fix everything and grab the bull by its horns and actually sit down in an office while there's no sales coming in and fix everything. I wanted to do this for that company I used to work for. They would have said no. Greed of making money is overpowering. Do we care about our customers with those companies? And like I said in my previous video, in the last 5 years since COVID happened, there's some things that happened to my marriage that, being a newly married couple, that happened to us during COVID when my first son was born, that shouldn't have happened, but I watched it destroy my relationship. It wasn't like cheating or anything. It was just like the dynamic values of, God, husband and wife, kids, family members, business. And if you screw that up, it falls apart. Because I cared so much about that, I didn't care about making sales for the last 5 years. I just didn't. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have. And I want somebody to know, if you placed an order with me within the last the last 5 years, I did the job right. I provided the right service. I told you the truth. I delivered you a good container, and it was delivered on the right day. I still provided the real service. I cared so much about my wife that I didn't almost care about anything else in this world. That doesn't mean I didn't do a good job. It just means I chose the wrong path. But I'm changing that now, and I'm doing what's right. So yeah, these videos, I want you to know I'm right about everything. I'm not lying about anything here. But there is a personal level with some of these companies. I think it's disgusting that these people that possibly are not even in America are ripping you guys off. I think they have a system that, it's not, I think it's, if you read their terms and condition, I know. If you read their complaints, I know. If you read the way they answer, I know. I've called these companies and listened with what they're telling you guys, and they have a system basically to screw you over from the very beginning of your order. And they did it by lying to you. That's how they got big. They got big by lying about what they're selling you guys. And once you give them an order, you're screwed. It's almost a scam after your order. But yeah, they've personally done things to me that I tried as a man, as a there's other competitors that I do get along with, that I trust. And if you ever give them an order, I'll tell you, you are so lucky you went with that company. But there's a lot of shitty, I'm telling 90% of cargo container companies are trying to rip you guys off, and they don't care if you don't like your container, and they don't care when it gets there, and they don't care if you cancel because they're going to keep some money. They don't care if they reject your container because they're going to keep more money. They don't care if they have to come back and get that container. They're going to keep 75 to 100% of your money. That's a scam. I'm so sorry. The system is rigged against the buyer. That's a scam. So, anyways, guys, it's my first video for Friday. Might have another one, but I wanted to ruffle some feathers there. So have a good one. Goodbye.